Wow, it has been, wow, I don't even know how long since my last video posted. Several months, probably 9-10 months ago. Anyway, I don't have a fancy setup today, but it's been way too long since I posted. I've just been insanely busy with my new job, working crazy hours, very little time off. As a matter of fact, this weekend I'm taking my first vacation since I started the job last June, and it's really just to go to a conference on autism in Atlanta. So, not much of a vacation per se, but anyway, I wanted to give at least a brief idea of what pens I have in my collection currently that you might not have seen before. Obviously, I've already done a review of the Faber-Castell Lume. That one was a medium. I did purchase I think this is called Gunmetal, in broad, which I really like as well. Lume are one of those fountain pens that are on the less expensive side, but punch way above their weight. They're just fantastic writers for steel nibs, and in the price range, I don't know if they can be beaten. I think they're gorgeous. They're really feel good in the hand. They write extremely well. So definitely a top pick for the lower end of the spectrum on pens, below $50. Which for some people sounds like a lot of money. In fountain pen world, that's practically nothing. Speaking of which, though, if I dare say cheap, you really can't beat Pilot Varsity. Now, okay, I've never tried the Platinum Preppy. It doesn't appeal to me aesthetically. But the Pilot Varsity just surprises me because it is a really, really inexpensive pen. You can get a whole pack of these for very little money. And yet, I mean, even the material of the nib, I guess it's steel, I don't know. It feels even cheaper than steel, but it writes so well. So anyway, I also did a review of this and the drama of trying to get this. This was the Lamy 2000 Black Amber edition. It's neither black nor amber, so I'm not sure why it's called Black Amber, but it's basically a solid steel version. I do like it. My one gripe with it has been, since my last review, is that it gets awfully dirty. And this is after I wiped it off a bit. Let's see. It just seems to collect ink in these little imperfections in the metal. And getting it out is nigh impossible. So that's my one gripe. That's Yamabudo staining on it right now. One of the greatest inks of all time. Over here are some more recent, although I haven't bought any pens recently per se, but in the last several months since I did my last video, I do have the Platinum 3776 Century. Often I think people say Platinum Century 3776, but anyway, I think it's Platinum 3776 Century. It's kind of an interesting material. It feels very plasticky and extremely light, much lighter than you would expect. I really become a green fan. Blue was always my favorite color, but I'm kind of converting to greens. And so I just thought this was a sharp looking color. Sorry about that, just give me 1 minute. This is a 14 karat gold nib. I think, sorry, this isn't even my house. But anyway, Platinum 3776, 14 karat gold. It writes well. I believe this is a double broad. It doesn't quite say on there. It says C, so I don't know. But I'm pretty sure I got this in a double broad. It's one of the few that you could get a double broad on. And I like it. It's not my favorite. A lot of people gush about this pen. It's okay. Try to do another review of it later. I like it. It's nice. It's lightweight. It's easy to carry around. It writes nice, but it's not really one of my favorites. Especially for the price. I don't know if I would get another one. Some people buy like every single version there are. And I don't know. Maybe when I do my review, I'll be reminded of why people buy them. But you know, it's good. Don't regret buying it, but I probably wouldn't do it again. I have other things I can spend money on. This is a mixed bag. Most of you will recognize this quickly as part of the Souverain collection of Pelikan. And this is an M800. Why? Well, because it was on sale and I can't afford an M1000. A lot of people think this is the perfect pen. Got that Pelikan bill. It's a neat design. Beautiful Stresemann stripes there. Although I think the Stresemann actually only refers to the gray version, so I think I just misspoke there. But anyway, you got those slots or slits in the color there on the barrel. I got the green, of course, because that's my new favorite color. And it looks gorgeous. It does write very well. I'm torn about it though. This one is a medium. 18 karat gold. Beautiful nib. Nice feed. It's smooth sometimes. And that's what surprises me. I got it because I kept being told that, oh my gosh, Pelikan, buttery smooth, and I just haven't quite found it. Certain papers, certain times, with a very light touch, yes. But I would not say it's the smoothest writer. Sometimes it doesn't feel very smooth at all to me, so that's the difference. And by the way, this is I say Girologio. I'm not sure exactly how it's pronounced. Could be Girologio, I'm not sure. It's the Oxblood case, 12 pen case. I like it, small enough to keep in my bag, but not unwieldy. And plus, I used to pretty much keep every pen inked all the time, and I've since stopped doing that. I realize it's probably not good for the pens. Obviously, the Platinum 3776 Century you can keep capped for what, like 2 years, and it has a sealing mechanism to prevent it from drying out on you. Most pens aren't that way though, and I can't rotate fast enough through them to keep all of my pens. And these are not all of my pens, it's just ones that I happen to have in this case right now. And anyway, right now the most buttery smooth and probably the biggest surprise to me was the Platinum, sorry, they would kill me right now, the Pilot Custom 823. Before I got this pen, I would have said that the best writer I had was Lamy 2000, either the Black Amber or the traditional Macaron, which I also have one of those. And I'm actually favoring the Macaron lately. Although there's a certain aspect about the weight of this one that I think actually does change the writing, so they're not really identical pens. The material does matter, but they both write so well. And the first time I wrote with this pen, it was immediately my favorite. And I thought I'll never be able to top the buttery smoothness and writing pleasure, a little bit of bounce or springiness in the nib. And then I got this, and it quickly became my go-to every day. Oh my gosh, it's so smooth. It's absurd how smooth this pen is, in a good way. I love the way this pen writes. It's actually out of ink right now. I went to write with it and it was out. I actually was keeping this on my, connected to my bullet journal. And anyway, I ran out of ink, but I love this pen so much, and I would actually consider buying more of them in different nib sizes just because of how awesome it is in a medium. And I do tend towards mediums and larger. If I don't get a broad or double broad on something and go with the medium, which is typically my go-to is a medium to start, because I want it to be usable and not be absurd. Like the double broads, I like them, but let's face it, they can be a little bit more difficult to write. I have very small handwriting. I just adjust my handwriting to the pen though. It's actually good for me to have larger nibs because of that, because that way it becomes more legible, because I have to force myself a little bit better, be more meticulous instead of writing like chicken scratch really quickly. But anyway, this medium is fantastic. Sometimes I'll get a fine. I don't even know if I've ever gotten an extra fine. Maybe one, I can't even think of it. Maybe on the Pilot Vanishing Point Decimo I did that, I'm not sure. Just so I have one that I could know that wouldn't bleed through on cheap paper if I had to sign something. But anyway, Pilot Custom 823. Absolutely fantastic. Best writer in my collection so far, I'd say. I would like to get an M1000 someday. Probably not going to happen. As a matter of fact, working longer hours, not necessarily making a whole lot more money. So, I'm probably going to say goodbye to some of these soon. So if you want one of these and you want to make an offer, let me know. I don't know that I'll get rid of this Visconti with the 1.5 millimeter stub, but I do have 2 other nib units and 1 other pen. I have a broad and I think, I don't remember, maybe a medium. I have another one that's blue. These are the Rembrandts. I have 2 Rembrandts, 1 blue, 1 green. So anyway, but if any of you wants one of these pens, you can always let me know. Really need to cut back, but at the same time, awesome pen. Now, is it my favorite pen? I don't know, and I don't have all my pens with me. I'm not at home. It's up there, but another pen, I don't think I had a chance to review it yet. I got many, many months ago, was the Visconti Homo Sapiens Bronze Age. Love that pen, love the feel of it. That lava/resin mix is amazing. Excuse me while I drink my bulletproof coffee. Chasing it with sparkling water lime. Anyway, the Homo Sapiens with the 23 karat palladium nib is very good. I can't, it's another one of those pens where the paper and the ink really seems to affect its writing. It can feel really, really smooth, or it can feel a little bit, I wouldn't say scratchy, just a little bit more feedback than I tend to like. And I don't know, I need to spend more time with that pen and really figure out why it seems to change character so much. So it probably is my favorite in my collection, just from the aesthetics of it, the locking mechanism of it, the palladium, which is unique. It does write very well, and just the way it feels, the weight, the resin, there's just something about that that's very special, and I love that pen. But anyway, that having been said, this probably deserves the #1 spot, even if it might not take it, because for hundreds of dollars less, cheaper, this pen writes the best out of everything I have. That Pilot Custom 823. And, well, anyway, that's just a little bit of an update. I'm probably missing some. I did get an Ahab. Hated it. Awful. Sorry, but I bought the Nib Creeper by accident once, and it writes better than the Ahab. I can't even get the Ahab to work. After I bought it, it was a mess trying to get the nib fitted right to the feed to adjust the flow and make it work. And I literally gave up on it. It reeks. It smells. Sorry, Brian Goulet, but the Ahab is awful. And I'm sorry. Stick to inks. That's all I'm going to say. Other than that, I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. Oh, yes, the Pilot Falcon. I don't know if I never did a review of that. Great pen. Fantastic. It's not a flex pen per se, but it is, it does have a soft, the Falcon nib, which for all intents and purposes is practically a flex nib. The line variation you get with that is outstanding. It's not technically a flex nib, but it might as well be. And that also was one of my favorites. I actually haven't used that in a long time. I need to get back to using it. Oh, probably one of the worst updates. And I say worst because I lost a couple of my pens. I have no idea where they are. I have not seen them in months, and I can't figure it out. I don't know where they are. But those would be my Lamys, non-2000s. So my Lamy Safari and my Lamy All-Star, both of which I reviewed. I can't find them. They're missing. And they're, relatively inexpensive. They are steel nibs. They're not really smooth, which I tend to like, but there's something about the feedback on those pens that I love. That if I want more of a pencil type feel, without being scratchy at all, those are the way to go. And for some reason, they're very strong, hard nibs that for whatever, I just love the way they write. I love writing with those. And so I miss having them, because even though I tend towards smooth, the writing with those Lamys is just something I literally on a regular basis go, man, I wish I knew where those were. I want to write with that right now. And I think that says something. I love Lamy. My top 3 brands, in no particular order, are Pilot, Lamy, and Visconti. Right now, I want Pelikan to win. I don't know why. I've been vying for Pelikan. That's why I got the M800. Not quite. It's up there, but you can't unseat those 3 right now. Maybe if I get the M1000, in the future. But those are my top 3, and I literally have not been able to decide which one. My Italian background makes me want to say Visconti. My love for German and German language makes me want to say Lamy, especially because I do love their pens. Lamy 2000. Every pen from Lamy I've had I love. But then there's Pilot, and it's hard to argue against Pilot because they make so many great pens. So when it comes to the variety of pens that perform for different purposes and uses and different mechanisms, I think you have to give it to Pilot. I think you just do. Even if I don't want to, Pilot with their Vanishing Point series, the full size and the Decimo, and then you've got your, the Pilot Varsity and all those sorts of things. It's hard to argue against it, that they are number one. If you had to pick one brand you can only buy from, you kind of have to pick them because they make everything. Visconti makes gorgeous pens. They don't, but a lot of them look the same. Van Gogh versus Rembrandt, pretty much the same thing, just different swirls, right? The one difference being the Homo sapiens series and the Opera Master. I guess I shouldn't forget that. Visconti is probably the number one high, accessibly luxurious pens, maybe. Maybe that's a good way of putting it. And then Lamy is just great all around. Low to entry-level luxury, I'd say. They rule. So, you know, but Pilot does it all. Cheap, relatively inexpensive, expensive, uber expensive. They've got something and everything, and they're all fantastic. So, enough of my rambling right now. I just wanted to make something and didn't really plan this. Just decided, hey, I'm doing it. No more excuses right now. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.